Hey guys, in this video I'm going to be showing you how to use this thing over here, the micrometer screw gauge. If you're here just to see how to take a reading on the micrometer screw gauge, then please skip to the second part of the video. I will also include the timestamp in the description below. So before we get into how to take a reading, let's identify the parts on the micrometer screw gauge first. This is what a micrometer screw gauge looks like. Now this part here is pretty heavy, it will hang down. This short hand on the left is called the anvil. This side is called the spindle. And then we have a lock here to sort of keep it in place when we want to take the reading. Now this part, you can see a scale here. This is the sleeve, and the sleeve has the main scale, as you can see. And then we have this part. This is called the thimble, and the thimble is where we can turn it. And if you look at the thimble, we have another scale here, vertical scale. This is the vernier scale on the micrometer screw gauge. And then at the end here we have a ratchet. So what is the function of all these things and how do we take a reading? So first we put the object inside. So let's say I was taking the diameter of my finger, which is not a good thing to take a diameter off. But let's say so all I have to do is turn the thimble, right, until my finger is in place, and then you would have to turn the ratchet. Once you feel sort of the grip is good enough, then you turn the ratchet until you hear a sound, a click, like that. Once you hear one click, you should not turn it anymore to avoid exerting too much pressure on the object. Once we've done all that, we would have a reading on the scale. So let's look at how to take the reading on the scale. First, we take a look at the main scale. So on the main scale, you can see that there are lines on the top and as well as the bottom of this horizontal line. The lines at the top represent 1 mm and the lines at the bottom represent the 0.5 divisions. So for example, if we look at this, the thimble here, the vernier scale is to the right of this line. So you have to see the line that is just to the left of the vernier scale. And this line is actually 5.5. So this is the first reading that we take, 5.5. And then we have to look at the vernier scale. When we look at the vernier scale, you can see that the number that is in line with this horizontal line here is 29. The numbers on the vernier scale are actually the numbers of the two decimal places in mm. So if it is a single digit, then we would have to add a 0 in front. If it's double digit, then it is the first and second decimal place in millimeters. So if we take a look at this is 29, so this would be plus 0.29 millimeters. And so the reading would be 5.79 millimeters. Let's try another reading. Let's look at this. So the line that is on the left of the vernier scale here is 5, 6, 7. So in this case, there is no 0.5 division just next to the vernier scale, and so we can ignore that. So the main scale reading would be 7 mm, 7.0. And then we look at the vernier scale here. The number is 12, 10, 11, 12. So this is the two decimal places in millimeters. So this will be 0.12 millimeters. And so the reading would be 7.12 millimeters. When the anvil and the spindle are close together like this, the reading that we should get is 0, exactly 0. But sometimes we get slightly more or slightly less than 0, as is in this case. So if they are close together like this and you get any reading other than 0, then it is called a zero error. So how do we take the zero error? First, we need to look at the position of the 0. If the vernier scale is on the right of the 0 line, then the 0 line is clearly visible like this, then we have what we call a positive 0 error. And what is the value of the positive 0 error? We have to look at the vernier scale. The vernier scale is at 2, 0, 1, 2, and therefore the 0 error is positive 0.02 mm. Remember, the vernier scale is the two decimal places in mm. If it is a single digit, then we add a 0 in front. So this would be 0.02 mm. Then we also have a negative 0 error. A negative 0 error will look something like this. You can see part of the 0, but you can't really see the line anymore. And this is a negative 0 error. How do we take the reading of a negative 0 error? we have to look at this line here that is in line with the horizontal line. So this number here is just one below 0. For a negative 0 error, we start from 0 and we go down instead of 0 and go up like earlier. Let's just compare. For this case, we are taking the actual number here. This is 0, 1, 2. So it's positive 0.02 mm. But for this case, we are taking the negative 0 error. So we go backwards. So this is actually just one line below the 0. So it is 0.01 mm, but negative. So the 0 error is negative 0.01 mm. So what is the actual value of the measurement then? To get the actual value, similar to the vernier caliper, if you haven't seen the video on the vernier caliper, the link is here. Please check that out as well. So the actual value is, we have to take the reading that we got using the instrument, using the micrometer screw gauge, and subtract the 0 error. Let's say we were using this particular micrometer screw gauge with this 0 error. So the 0 error would be negative 0.01. And let's say we took the reading of an object and we found it to be this. So this, as we did earlier, is 5.5 plus 0.29. So it is 5.79. So the actual value of the measurement would be 5.79 minus negative 0.01. And therefore the reading would be 5.80 millimeters. This is for negative 0 error. What about if we had a positive 0 error? So let's say we use a different micrometer screw gauge and we found that this is the 0 error on that micrometer screw gauge. So this is a positive 0 error of 0.02 mm. Then we take the reading of another object and we find that this is the reading. So this is also, as we did earlier, this is 7 point, this is 12. So 7.12 millimeters. The actual value of measurement would be 7.12 minus positive 0.02, and this will give us 7.10 mm. This is how we use a micrometer screw gauge. If you have learned something from this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, and if you enjoy educational content like this, please don't forget to subscribe. I will be producing at least one video a week. Thank you for your support, and I'll see you in the next video.